Welcome to No More Bullshit. I'm Peggy.
And I'm Marci.
We are two women who believe that life's trials aren't happening to us, they're happening for us.
And we're here to help you turn every why me into watch me.
Because shifting out of victim mode and into empowerment is what we do best.
So join us as we cut through the bullshit and help you see how strong you really are. So it's January now. How are you doing on your goals?
Well, I am at a weight that I'm happy with, and that was one of my big focuses.
Nice.
My bigger focus is on getting all of this flabby shit into muscle shit, you know?
I love that.
Because all that weight loss, it's all kind of jiggly. So
Sure.
that is my total focus for 26.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about where I've maybe failed it and nailed it a
Okay.
little later. But
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I have set a goal to be at some form of movement 5 out of 7 days.
Ooh, that's good. I think that's really
And
good.
on my tracker, I hit 3 out of those last week. So,
Okay.
so that's
Gotta
where-
pace it. You
Yeah,
know.
well, we're practicing forgiveness right now.
That's good.
We're
That's
in a
good.
forgiving state.
I feel like a lot of my goals are like longer term. So I feel like I just have to take, it's throughout the year. So I have to kind of take it in stride and not lose motivation.
Well, especially if, well, with anything, right? Like I want to build muscle and I'm not going to have, I'm just not going to see that flab go away overnight. And it's also so subtle.
Yeah.
That's such an hard thing to measure on a regular basis.
Oh,
it's not like I
yeah.
can jump on a scale. And in fact, the freaking scale, if I'm building muscle, is kind of working against me.
True.
And so it's very hard to stay motivated when you can't see the evidence
Yes.
immediately.
Yes. Right. No, that makes total sense. It's so much easier when there's like big results right away.
Yeah. Or you have let's say you want to save, $1,000. Well, I can see that money growing, right?
Yeah.
But I can't necessarily overnight see my muscles shifting from fat to muscular.
Right. You're not
My
seeing every
body doing
dollar
that.
of muscle like you are in a bank account.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So on that vein, let's talk about how do we stay motivated when maybe we're starting to lose some focus or we're not seeing the results as quickly as we had hoped for.
Yes, absolutely. Listener, if you're out there and you have struggled with your goals, maybe you've even dropped them off and walked away from them, pick them back up. We got you. This is your episode. So let's get into some motivation.
All right. Well, what keeps you motivated? What is motivation, first of all? Like, you hear these terms, motivation, consistency, discipline. Are they the same? Are they different? What makes them different if they are?
Discipline versus motivation.
And consistency.
And consistency. Oh, I think discipline feeds consistency. That's how you're going to be consistent if you're disciplined. And actually, I think that is one of my personal superpowers. I'm not very driven by people riding my tail. It's just not my personality type. If somebody's like, go left, I'm like, no. But I am really good at overriding my caveman brain and saying we're doing it anyways. We're waking up, we're working out anyways. We're, saying no to sweets anyways or whatever. I am pretty disciplined at that naturally. And I think it's like any muscle, and the more you practice, the stronger it gets.
So why do you think, because most people aren't really good at that. That is a muscle that they have to develop over time. And I think when it comes to being disciplined and then going into consistency because you're disciplined, it's almost something where you have to build trust with yourself over time that I can do this because I have done this.
Yes.
But for you, it's one of those things, you're sort of an anomaly because it is inherent to who you are, that you can do that without those other steps having to take place. So why do you think you're naturally such a consistent and disciplined human?
I think one part is I definitely don't very often play victim. I mean, it can happen if I'm in my head feeling sorry for myself, but I'm very quick to remove myself and get right out of that. So I think that's a huge part of it. I know if there's a problem, if I have a problem, I'm actually also the solution. And that's, so it doesn't take me long. I don't sit there and be like, oh, I've got this thing. I'm just addicted to sugar. I just love sugar. No, I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have to. So I think part of it's that. I think part of it is I've practiced for so long. I think it's easier for me. And I just think I am that, like, I've already decided my personal identity is that I am not out of control.
I think a lot of what you're saying right now, too, is you're using terms like I've decided. I don't let myself buy into that. I shift, it's like your inner thought process shifts very quickly.
Yes.
You don't entertain that negative thought.
Right.
It comes in. It's not that you don't have it.
Yeah, that's right.
It comes, but you very quickly are like, yeah, that thought isn't serving me. I'm going to choose a thought that will serve my purpose better. And you immediately buy into that thought.
Yes. And actually, I personally find if I'm really struggling, let's just say like a victim mentality, like this thing is really bad. Or here's an example. The other day at work, I totally forgot to write this one appointment down. I'm a human. It happens. Knock on wood. It's rare, but it does happen. So there's a knock at the salon door. I open it. There's a client I hadn't anticipated coming in for a color cut. I was already processing another color. My first thought was like, oh gosh, how am I going to fit this in? And then I thought, what if I make it work and it works out beautifully and I'm running right on time? And the minute I thought, like, I can do this and I could run on time still. I overlap clients all the time. I you know what I mean? The space existed. So instead of sitting down or eating a bite of food, I was going to do another color. Okay, no problem. And I did. I did it. But the minute I thought it, I felt lighter versus holding the thought like, oh shit, now I got to figure this out, or I have to tell this client, I have to do it another day, and I'm so dumb, I didn't write this down. No, instead I was like, actually, I think I can make this work, and I think it's going to work really well. And it did. But the second I thought the lighter thought of like, maybe yes, maybe good, maybe better. And then these two women, one's a physician, one had just gotten back from a missions trip to Africa. They had a great chat. They talked about different like medical things. And so it was just this like beautiful moment.
Well, and ultimately it really worked out the way that it was meant to, right?
Yes.
Because there was connection that needed to happen there.
Right.
That wouldn't have happened had it been perfectly orchestrated.
Right. Yes.
So it was almost like you had to just lean in and be like, a curious observer. Okay, what's going to happen here?
Totally.
This is like a happy accident. What is going to happen here? And that's that mindset shift, right?
Yes.
And what I've always loved so much about you is you always choose the joyful approach. You always look for like, well, it could be better. This could be even better. Yeah, I might have to work a little harder.
Right.
But this is going to be better. Also, you said the words, I've done this before.
Right.
I know I can do this again, even though I didn't plan to do it this way this time. I've been here before.
Yes.
I've overlapped clients.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of times on purpose.
For
You've
sure.
done it.
Oh,
so
big time.
This time, why is this any different?
Right.
So you, instead of shifting into, great, now my day is screwed up and I'm going to be even more exhausted and all of these things, you were just like, okay, I can do this. It's going to be even better.
Right. And I think that's something like if somebody's struggling with a goal, whatever it is, save money, lose weight, quit smoking, maybe where you are right now, you were meant to hear this podcast to reignite you. And maybe you were meant to fall off that path and time to redirect. Maybe you learned something or grew in a way in that moment. And now is your time to redirect, get recentered. And maybe it wasn't bad. It was that happy accident, that empowering thought, choice, opportunity, and that's just a part of your whole path.
It's so powerful because if we can shift our narrative from why is this happening to me to how is this happening in a positive way for me? How is this serving me? How is this putting me where I'm supposed to be?
Yes.
Because ultimately everywhere we are is exactly where we are meant to be.
Totally.
And in that moment, it can be the best moment.
Yes.
Or the worst moment. It's how we look at it.
Right. Totally agree.
And there are obviously going to be much tougher moments in our lives where that might not feel like that's the truth in that moment. We're not talking about those moments.
No.
We're talking about you ate the ice cream.
Right.
Or you had the cigarette. Or you spent the money and you wish you wouldn't have.
Right.
Or you were questioning, why did I do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do
totally
I get back
agree.
on track?
Right. I totally agree. Well, Peggy, I want you to share, you looked some things up from a Harvard study that had to do with kind of some of these like falling out of the pattern of, reaching goals. So kind of share a little bit about that.
Well, I was looking up like just different facts on why do people lose motivation. And that's why I wanted to start with what is the difference between motivation versus discipline and consistency. Because I think in our minds, we sort of put all of those together into one category.
Right.
And how many times do we not get up and go to the gym or go do the thing because I'm not motivated? I just don't feel motivated today. How many times do we say that? I'm not motivated to do that.
Waiting for the motivation.
But motivation is driven by emotion. That is a very emotional place to be, is motivated or not motivated. It's driven really energetically on how we're feeling at any given point. So we're riding the wave of that. And sometimes we are so motivated, and those are the times where we like bust through our to-do list and we get a million things done, and then we'll have 3 days of no productivity because we weren't motivated. So what is the solution to that? Well, that's discipline and consistency, because those are very unemotional ways of approaching things. But I think in our minds, for whatever reason, we think those are all the same across this study. And it's from the Center on the Developing Child, the Harvard Center on the Developing Child. And it was called 5 Facts About Motivation That Are Often Misunderstood. And I was like, well, okay, all right, well, I'm here. I'm in for it. And I won't cite all 5 of them because some of them are obvious, right? We already can pretty much understand those. But one I thought was really interesting was addictions divert motivation systems and require more than willpower to overcome. And so when you think about a lot of the behavioral changes we're trying to correct, whether that's spending, smoking, drinking, eating, whatever it is, those are oftentimes things that we are addicted to for whatever reason. We for sure are addicted to sugar. We are such a high sugar society. Smoking is so those are all addictions.
Right.
And if we think, oh, well, the solution to this addiction is motivation, it's discipline, we're actually discrediting what's really happening there, and we're making it a lot harder for ourselves. So addictions chemically hijack our basic biological systems that have evolved for optimal survival. So it doesn't reflect a lack of conscious effort or a failure of character, or that you suck. It's really managing addictions require blocking the chemical diversions below the conscious level. So when you're looking at even something like the GLP-1s, and I know this is a hot button, and there are people listening who are probably like, oh my God, she's about the GLP-1s. Actually, I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 100% for it, just like people take heart medications.
Sure.
Or diabetic drugs.
Yeah.
Right? And one could say, oh, well, that's because they have a condition. Well, they do have a condition, and actually so does somebody who is extremely obese. They have a condition. And are you saying somebody with heart disease that could manage their heart disease with diet, with exercise, but they choose not to, and they take these, drugs that help their heart function properly, they also could use better diet and whatever. But
sure.
They're having a physiological response to something going on in their body. So I think one of the big takeaways for me in this is, if this is something that despite your best efforts, you are still struggling with, and you are finding, I cannot tame this beast, go to your doctor. And if you don't trust your doctor, find one that you do.
Right.
And have those very transparent conversations.
Yeah.
I am so focused on this thing. And despite all of my efforts, I'm doing all of these tips, I'm doing all of these tricks, I can't beat this on my own. How can you help?
Yeah.
And have that very transparent conversation. Is there something neurologically that is going on here?
Right. And I think you made a really good point. Like, try it on your own. Because I think a lot of times we have a lot of control over things, or more so. You know what I mean? But then it's like, after that step of really giving it a solid try, you might need the next level of help. You know what I mean?
And this is, not to interrupt you, but this is exactly what happened to me when I was dealing with my issues. I lost 70 pounds naturally on my own, but I mean, I was very large. So 70 pounds on a 300-pound person, you've still got a lot of weight to lose. You were still obese at the end of 70 pounds. It doesn't even look like you've lost weight, right?
Man. Yeah, yeah.
And so I went to my doctor, and I was very good at going to my doctor throughout the journey. And I went to her, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I just don't feel like I have a lot of room to move here. I've done so much to get those 70 pounds off.
Right.
And it's been 3 months, and nothing is moving. And, I'm at like 700 calories a day I'm eating at this point, and I'm working out with the trainer, and I'm walking 10,000 steps, and I'm doing all of these things, and I don't know what's going on. And she said to me, I think it's time. I think you need to try these GLP-1s.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I hear all this stuff. I don't know if this is for me.
Right.
I feel like this is a motivation issue. This is a willpower. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm not doing the right assortment of things. And she was like, no, I honestly think this is what you need at this point. I think there's something chemically going on in your body.
Yeah.
And she was right. She was right. So then I started to take the GLP-1s, and it didn't make weight loss for me easy, because weight loss for me has never been easy, but it did make it possible.
Gotcha.
I still had to do the work. I still had to show up. I still had to tap into discipline. I still had to tap into consistency.
Yes, it wasn't like a freebie. Like, you have to work for it still.
But I wasn't spinning my wheels.
Yes.
And that's where having a good healthcare partner can make a difference.
True.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's for everything. Smoking,
For everything.
drinking.
That's not just a weight loss thing. That is everything.
Yeah.
Have a strong relationship with a healthcare partner that you trust.
True. I also think it's interesting, like, New Year's goals. Sometimes I think it's not taking something out or a discipline. I think it can just be like real goals of starting a business or creating something or starting a podcast or whatever. It can also be like adding something new and exciting into your life.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's important too. Like, sometimes you even lose your motivation on that, and it's how to reignite it.
Well, and think about just, as human beings, we like to be comfortable. We don't like to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
And so in the beginning, it's the bright, shiny new object. And so that enthusiasm outweighs that discomfort.
Yes.
But then as you settle into the reality of it, and
Right.
it's like no longer the bright, shiny object, it's just your daily life of, oh, I got to get up and do this thing I don't want to do, or I can't have that cigarette I want to have.
Right.
And if you aren't seeing the results immediately of the new behaviors, it's very hard to stay in that place of wanting to do that thing.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I think, well, and I want to hear the other Harvard thing you said, but I just want to add really quick. I do think that's when you have to go back to your why in the bigger picture. Like, why do you want to do this? Why did you start this? And kind of just press through, to like basically make yourself like continue to chase the goal.
Yeah, and we'll circle back to that in a minute because I think that's something that we really need to dig into.
Yeah. Okay, tell us the Harvard.
So the other Harvard point that really stuck out to me was providing a predictable reward is not enough to sustain motivation over time. So what does that mean? Basically, that's saying, like, we get a dopamine hit when we have a better than expected result.
Okay.
So if you step on the scale and you hope to lose 1 pound and you've lost 3, you're doing the happy dance, right? You're in your
Yes.
bathroom totally naked, dancing around. It's like joy, joy, yay. Conversely, you wanted to lose 1 pound and you gained 2. You're now not only are you not having that dopamine response, now you are losing motivation.
Right.
Because now you're uncomfortable and you're
Right.
unhappy. And
Right.
it's bringing up all these emotions in you that you avoid
Yes.
naturally. We
Right.
don't want those feelings. We don't want to feel like we're failing.
Right.
So if we are only seeing success as this one metric,
Okay.
when we
The losing weight is the metric. Okay.
or whatever it is.
Yes, yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes, yes.
but if there's only this one finite metric that defines success for us, and we only feel motivated or excited to pursue it when we exceed our expectation of that
Yes.
goal, and we lose motivation if we don't hit that specific goal, we're setting ourselves up to fail because we are riding that emotional wave
Right.
continuously.
Yeah.
We're in, we're out, we're in, we're out, and it's uncomfortable. And we're not going to stick with it.
True.
And we're going to hijack our nervous system in the
True.
meantime doing it with that
Yeah.
emotional swing back and forth.
Makes sense.
So it's important to set goals
Yes.
that are fun, that are fresh, that are evolving with you, with your journey, so that you don't have this one hard, fast thing. You are
Right.
setting these fresh goals. Maybe every week it's a different goal, but it's still a goal that's helping you to get to the end result. That is your overall overarching goal.
Love
If
that.
that makes. In order to set yourself up for success, surround yourself with the people, the future you, that
Yes.
higher version of yourself that you are striving to become, with those people, the
Right.
people that person hangs out with, or the
Right.
places that person goes. With food, I really had to avoid eating out a lot. I had to avoid being with friends who would say, let's go ahead and order the dessert and share it.
Yeah.
I had to avoid those temptations
Yes.
in the beginning until I had built enough trust with myself.
And how long did it take you to build that trust?
It didn't take as long as I would have thought, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
I would say probably I started my weight loss journey at the end of October, and probably about April or May, I was in a position where I felt strong enough to go out to dinner. Now, it was very hard in the beginning. My book club met always at like great restaurants with, awesome cocktails. And I can remember the first time we went, I think we went to like Coco's, which has great cocktails here locally and great food. And anyway, we were there and everybody was ordering their drinks. And I ordered a water. And they were all like, you're not going to have a drink. I'm like, no, I'm not going to have a drink. I had known, because I think setting yourself up for success is planning, having a plan A, having a plan B. I had planned out my week. I knew I had something else going on later, someplace where I would have cocktails, and I didn't feel the need to do it that night at book club.
Right.
So I was letting myself do it later in the week, not that at
Yeah.
this dinner.
Planning ahead.
I was planning ahead, and I said, no, I don't drink anymore. I don't drink like this anymore.
That's good.
And it was very uncomfortable. Everybody around me was very uncomfortable. Well, maybe I shouldn't drink. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I work with women on weight loss, this is a big one, is
Yeah.
I recommend a 2-drink max.
Yes.
And they'll go out with their friends and they'll be like, but my friends all give me a hard time because I'm not drinking with them. And they look at me like I'm weird. And I'm like, get comfortable being weird.
Yes.
Because you're going to normalize it. And eventually they're not going to do this to you anymore.
Right. And then, I think anytime you change a patterned behavior, whether drinking, smoking, eating junk, whatever, it's like the people you're around, not on purpose, but you're holding a mirror up to them. And then they are like self-reflecting, like maybe I'm doing it too much because I used to hang out with this person and we would do this together and you've made a decision to stop. Why? And it's not intentional. You're not like, haha, feel bad,
Right.
But I think it just makes them hold a mirror up, and some people might need that mirror, and then other people are like, I'm okay, I'm good, you know.
And it was really hard to do at 300 pounds.
Right.
To sit at a table still really, really fat.
Yeah.
Saying, no, I don't do this anymore. And knowing in the back of their minds, they're going to be like, at the next book club, she'll be drinking.
Right. They might have thought that.
Because I'm sure they thought that. I would have thought that. I mean, honestly, it's human nature because you aren't 300 pounds because you stick to your diets.
Right.
And trust me, when you're 300 pounds, you've tried a lot of diets that you haven't stuck to and had those exact same conversations.
Yeah. Interesting.
And you can't let that noise be the reason you give in.
Yeah, that is not your soundtrack. You're allowed to change
because you're shifting it. You're changing it.
Yes. No more bullshit.
No more bullshit. No more. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of things, but how would you? What is some advice you would give to our friends and ourselves?
Yes, I'm glad we're friends. That's right.
And we're at this point now where, let's face it, it's getting kind of old.
Yes. Okay. Well, one tip I don't think a lot of people think of that I want to share with you today. You need to remove at least one, let's call it an energy leak from your life. That might be clean your messy room or your messy kitchen countertop. Or that might be remove a draining person or a doubter out of your life. If someone is kind of like, yeah, you're going to quit that. Okay. Or an unfinished task, or I'm just going to be honest, it might be social media. You might need to take a break. If it's not making you feel good, take a break from that thing. But your surroundings matter. And you only have so much energy in your day. So do not let it go to like a negative place or a negative source or a negative person. And so I would just challenge you to definitely clean up at least one and see how that affects your motivation or ability to override a lack of motivation and like press on. That I feel like is an unusual one.
Yeah, energy leaks are not talked about enough. And I'm so glad you brought it up because when you feel disordered,
yes,
it shows up everywhere in your life.
Totally.
Everywhere. And they say like, I don't know, feng shui, like I don't really get it, but
Same.
I've read enough about it to know that when you like are cleaning out things, and they say like the new year is a really good time to clean things out because it's the winter, you're in your home. So like take a drawer, clean it out. Just that action is creating this energetic space.
Yes.
For better to come in.
Yes.
And you feel that. You feel it. And I know when I like clean out my closet or something, I feel like $1,000,000 freaking bucks.
Yeah. Protecting yourself. Like I think, we all know negative energy zapping people. Limit your exposure to them or your time around them or your phone calls or your text or whatever, because that can be such an energy zap. And if you're just depleted from that, you'll have no motivation to achieve your goals, whatever that looks like.
And I know the people pleasers out there listening to this right now
They're
are like,
squirming.
I can't do it.
Yes.
Can't do it. I can't. How do you say no to these people? Mm-hmm. You just say no to these people because at the end of the day, they're not the ones living with what you're living with. The thing you're trying to shift, they aren't living with that.
Right.
You owe them nothing.
And think of your future you. Like, let's say your name is, I don't know.
Pamela.
Pam. I was actually thinking Pam.
Shut up. We're so on the same
Pam, this
wavelength.
one's for you.
My
This
God.
podcast is for you.
We're so connected.
I feel like what would future Pam want you to do? Like if future Pam is the dream version of you and she is a very healthy woman, she eats an appropriate amount of food, has a healthy weight, exercises regularly. We're talking dream version. She
doesn't
has
smoke.
Yeah, she has a couple cocktails on weekends with friends and she sleeps 8 hours a night.
Her skin glows. God,
Yes,
Pam,
Pam's
your skin.
gorge.
Jesus.
Yes. And I feel like Pam would say, don't worry about those people that you're trying to people please. They'll never be pleased. It'll never be enough. And I don't want those people in my life. I don't want someone that I'll never be enough for and I'll always be striving for and it'll always fall short. So I think you just have to take care of you, Pam, recenter, and think of future Pam. And this one's for her. We're cutting out those toxic people for her.
And here's the thing, Pam, you're cutting out toxic people, but I can tell you, your future Pam, I want to be friends with her.
Yes.
You are going to magnetize
yes.
these friends to you. Pam, that Pam, she's a hot ticket. She's got a lot of people wanting to spend time with her because she's so great to be around.
Exactly.
Love her energy.
Confident. Exactly. Yeah. So I think that is really important. And I know people pleasing, like that type of personality is very, very, very common in the country of the United States. But I think it's just really important to be on to yourself and do it for future you. Mm-hmm. Very, very important.
Yeah. Again, it gets back to that, just get comfortable being uncomfortable. It won't last long. It won't last long. But you're going to have to go through it to go through it.
That's right. That's right.
I really love the idea of focusing on small wins.
Okay.
For big gains.
Okay.
So that compounding effect of, I am not going to make the big goal the daily goal.
Right.
That's what I think the difference is. You have this big thing that you are striving for, but you aren't going to get there by only focusing your actions on that big thing. Because just like the example we used earlier, I am not going to see that muscle build for months. I know that. I have to find another way to stay consistent and disciplined and feel good about what I'm doing that has nothing to do with the way my body physically looks today.
Right. Okay, question for you. How do you celebrate small wins? I just need some examples.
How do I celebrate? I'm a big celebrator. I'm a big self-care girly.
Okay. Okay.
So I am someone who will allow myself, let's say I get up and I go to Pilates at 6 a.m.
Yes.
I'm not one of, so a lot of people be like, I went to Pilates, so I drove through and I got the coffee. You know, like I let myself go get the coffee. If you want to do that, that's fine. That is not how I do it. I come home and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm home, it's 7 o'clock. I just got a 50-minute great workout in. And I am now going to sit with my coffee I made at home. I am going to sit here. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to journal. I'm going to go into gratitude. I am going to light my candle. I'm going to luxuriate for a half an hour in me, in my energy, without guilt. No guilt. Because it's 7 o'clock. I put an hour in.
Right.
Already.
Did you used to have guilt when?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So much guilt. I think that's like, especially women in this culture, we feel like we have to be performing at all times to earn the right to sit, to rest, to take time for ourselves. We don't feel like that's allowed.
Right, right.
And I'm like, fuck it. I've got an hour of a workout in. It's 7 o'clock. I'm taking this half an hour for me.
Yeah, that's good.
No apologies.
And I like your celebration isn't really costing you money or calories.
Yeah, no, it's not about any of that. That's so counterproductive to me. That's old me.
Yeah.
Right? Old me, old Peggy would definitely be like, oh, I worked out. I'm going to get that. I have the budget here for the 150 calorie, Starbucks
latte,
brown espresso shaken deliciousness in a cup, sure. I can do that. I just probably burned 500 calories. I'm still ahead. That was old me. Okay. That's how old me did things. This version of me is like, I'm not even thinking about calories.
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about food as the reward. It's not even how I think. Because
that's good. The
person who has a body she's proud of and is sustaining it long term doesn't.
Yeah.
She just doesn't.
That's good.
Food is not a reward. It's so neutral.
Yes.
It's not something I celebrate with. It's not something I use as punishment.
Right. It's neutral.
It's neutral.
I love that.
Nothing.
3 steps to just get you motivated going again. Whether the goal is taking something away like food, cigarettes, whatever, or adding something in like planning a social event you've wanted to have, or hosting girls for dinner, or start walking 10,000 steps a day. Okay. So do the smallest possible action. Start literally with just 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes of walking, 2 minutes of meditating, 2 minutes of meal prep or, whatever. But break it down into something that feels so honestly pointless. You're like, why am I even doing this? Because that is just kind of like you were saying in Atomic Habits, just like the little bit,
It compounds.
It's going to compound. Exactly. Okay, reconnect with your why in one sentence. Like, why are you doing this? Are you trying to improve your health, improve your friendships, improve your appearance? And Peggy and I had talked earlier, and she had a great idea with a Post-it note. Maybe we're putting it on like a bathroom mirror, like just surrounding yourself with basically future you, who you want to become. And the last one would be change your environment for 5 minutes. So if you're having a hard time getting motivated at home to write the book or whatever the goal is, go to a coffee shop and write. Turn on an awesome playlist that like gets you excited to go work out or gets you calmed down to meditate, like whatever that is. Just change it for 5 minutes, your environment.
And I'm going to add a couple of things to that. Also, make it easy. So you've got to make it easy for the win.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting up and I'm going to work, especially in the winter, and I'm going to go work out at 6, or you do 5:45 even.
Yes.
My bed is warm and my bed is cozy. And when I get out of that bed, if I have to dig through drawers to find my workout clothes and find my socks for Pilates, the whole 9 yards, I am going to go to the bathroom and be like, F this, I'm climbing back into my comfy bed. So what I do is I have a chair in my bathroom and I put my workout clothes the night before on that chair.
Okay.
Socks, everything I need is on that chair. I go to the bathroom, I take off my jammies, and immediately I'm putting on my workout clothes.
Yes.
That is how it works.
No step
Those
in between.
are the steps.
Love it.
And
Love
then
it.
I go through the get ready process. So at that point, I'm committed. When she was introducing that concept, I was listening to it. And she said, when you hit snooze, you are literally hitting snooze on starting your day, on starting your life. And I was like, why do I live a life I want to hit snooze on?
Interesting.
Yeah. That really shifted mindset for me.
Interesting. That does not work for me.
Really? You're like, I'm going to snug right into this damn bed.
My rebel mentality, again, these are just thoughts. I know they're thoughts. I could choose other thoughts. I come from a long line of snoozers, okay? Like my dad would hit snooze, I hit snooze. So I will set my alarm for 5 and I'll probably not get out of bed till 5:15. But I don't know. I just feel like it's a little treat in the morning, like a little extra nap. Okay. But it doesn't bother me. I don't know.
But the point is you allow for the snooze.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
It's not
I said
like
it.
5:15 is your last point that you can get out of that bed and you
Yes.
set your alarm for 5:15.
Yeah,
and then
no.
you have to employ the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right.
You build in the snooze.
Yes, it's a treat.
It's
a
your
little,
treat.
It's a cookie in the morning
Yeah.
in my bed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you get to that 5:15 and you're hitting snooze,
Oh, yeah. No, I would never.
when there is it's at the point of no return. If I snooze
right.
here, I am late.
Right.
Or I'm missing
exactly.
my workout.
Then I'm paying for the
I'm
class
paying the
I
damn
missed.
15 fucking bucks. I know.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. And I think, everybody's different. I think part of it is like tapping into that. Like what's going to work for you? It might work for your friend. It might not. And
I think you've got to be willing to try on
yes.
different things.
Yes.
Like, does the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 work for me?
Yes.
Or does the setting my alarm 15 minutes early and giving myself the treat, knowing I've got to be out by 5:15?
Right.
Does that work for me?
Exactly.
But that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Try it on. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean you're failing. It
Right.
means you're
need another
experimenting.
method.
You're being
Exactly.
a scientist.
Exactly.
Okay, now I'll try this other one.
Yeah.
What's a different way I could do this?
Right. And don't forget, like, if you've been doing the same thing, because we all do, because we're humans, because it's all patterned behavior. So if you've been doing a pattern, you are not liking your result, then try something else completely different. And I think that's good. I mean, that's the key. Be on to your own brain and be willing to like tweak and change things until you find the result you want.
Choose joy. I think that's another tip I'd like to give is this. anytime you do a behavior change, it's hard.
Yes.
I mean, it's
uncomfortable.
Sticky, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it has to be unenjoyable.
Ooh, yes.
And I think when we don't lean into the fun and the joy and we just are like, oh, I got to do this thing and it's going to suck. And well, we're creating that reality.
That's right. 100%.
And then the other is true too. Oh, I get to do this thing.
Ooh, yes.
I get to go to Pilates. I get to drive a different direction to Pilates. I get to go see my friend today for coffee, and then I get to go do the podcast, and then I get to go do this. And you know what? I am going to get my favorite coffee, Keurig coffee, and I'm going to put it in my favorite mug, and I'm going to have that with me while I'm busy today. And I'm going to have my favorite podcast ready to go.
Yeah.
And I get to listen to my podcast, and I get to drink my favorite coffee, and I get to see these people that really light me up. I'm so lucky.
Yes. I
Build
love that.
a life that feels lucky.
Yeah. I think that's really good. Oh, maybe we already said leave us a review.
We have not said leave us a review.
Okay,
but
leave
please
us a review. Yes.
Come on, show us the love.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
and share with your friends. Yes.
Yeah, and be honest.
Yeah.
We can take it.
Yeah, we can take it. Or just text us, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe just DM us and honest. Only good stuff, but that's I mean, that's not really no more bullshit.
All right. Okay, have a good one.
Good luck, guys. You got this.
You got this.
All right, that's our shift for today.
Go live, laugh, and do one bold thing before the next episode drops.
Follow us at No More Bullshit and keep the conversation going.
Because if you can't laugh about it,
you probably still need to shift it.